teacher, my own healer sometime, and say, yeah, you are. And there's times, said doing this kind of work, you don't really know
Yeah.
if it's really effective. And
Yeah.
so then every so often you get those little reminders, right? That yeah, it's helping, right? And even if it only helps one or two people, that's worth it. And then that energy exchange is reciprocity, and then it
Mm,
gives you the few that you need to
mm.
push forward another day. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said pushing forward because that's what we've been doing all this time. We've been pushing forward. And I love how you talked about even if it's just one or two, but I think about this, it's more than one or two. It's been many that I've seen. And the thing is that they always feel like they're important and they're special. And that one or two can make a major difference and change in our society
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we're the ones that we're waiting for, and there's no more time to wait or waste. And I just love how your work makes people feel not only that they have greater worth, but they put more of an emphasis on working to achieve and increase that worth. So
Yeah,
they add value not only in experiencing what you have to share, but taking that with them and growing and multiplying it. So it becomes even more powerful. It becomes even more important. And it uses not only the wisdom that you shared from the ancestors and your great work and your experience, but also they're able to develop their own greater understanding. They're also able to use their own vantage point to be able to create more clarity
yeah.
specifically for themselves. So I just wanted to ask you this question, dear sister.
Hmm.
Um, you know, as people tap into this, as people, become more aware of this understanding and this information, sometimes folks say, "Ooh, that's spooky dookie, man. Uh-oh, you scaring me, man. It feels okay, it hit different.
Yeah.
And I see you, sister, but I still got to go to work on Monday." So folk are trying to figure out how they can use this and still be in a system and still be in a structure that frowns or looks very speciously on things that are a little different. So I'm wondering how people can be in this world but not consumed, controlled, and stressed by it like you yourself.
Right. And I love that you said that, because that is one of the things that I had to develop a tough skin to deal with, and that's the people thinking that this is spooky, thinking that it's evil, thinking that we're on an express train to hell, even though they don't have a destination. I'm like, is hell where's hell at? Can you give me coordinates, please, right? So, and it's kind of like, and I said this before, like Harriet Tubman is one of my idols, because she said that had more people known they needed to be free or were enslaved, she would have freed more. And so it is interesting, because this is this is love work, right?
Mm,
Because
wow.
I was on the same treadmill or the same hamster wheel, trying to keep the ends met. I had to divorce my husband, and I ended up raising 5 children by myself and holding down, a network security job in a white male dominated industry, and being conscious, going in there with a different kind of vibration. It's like, right? And it's important at this, because right now what we're talking about finding a way to allow for the type of work that's going to save your life to begin
Mm,
to unfold.
mm, mm,
And even though people are walking and they're getting up every day, most people are not living. And so we're talking about resuscitation. We People are walking around like zombies, right?
mm,
Been there, done that. And so this type of work is really trying to show people that there is a higher way to live, a higher way to vibrate, other than being stuck on that hamster wheel.
right.
And that hamster wheel, as long as we give it that power, it's going to continue to control our time, our energy, right? Our
Right.
resources. But I look at myself as a living example. When I jumped off that hamster wheel, right, said goodbye to the 6 figures or whatever, life hasn't let me down. The universe hasn't let me down. It's it continues to provide. I think I eat better now than
Oh yeah, I know you eat better. I already know. I already know you eat better. No doubt about that.
yeah. So, I just want people to begin to ask themselves, like, is this working? Whatever
Mm,
your mode of operation is it
mm.
working for you?
Is it working for
Are you
you?
elevating?
Are you
Are you
elevating?
elevating mentally, physically, and spiritually?
We think about that. Sometimes we'll see challenges on social media of the 10-year challenge or the 5-year challenge or how we looked in 2017. But we don't sometimes think about the things that I think might have even greater bearance upon our existence. How did we think and how have we elevated in that thinking from 2017 or any other year for that matter? Because
Yeah.
we should be growing in our understanding and challenging those things that we're standing under, if you will, to make sure that it's a solid and secure foundation. You've been doing that. And I've just seen over the course of years. I know you're a little while, sister. Hey, we've been rocking for a minute.
Yeah.
How you have transcended and evolved and grown. And that's the thing that I wanted to ask you because we got some great folk on this program, and I can't wait to bring them on and share with the community their greatness. But I think it's just so beautiful how you talked about, raising 5 children, how you talked about being in a white male dominated environment. That's enough stress just to kill you just saying it. But being able to not only experience it, but overcome from it and come to this level of understanding to be able to now share, impart, and spread the greater wisdom to the community so that they can take benefit and then allow those seeds to germinate to create even greater opportunities for our people. So I celebrate that. But I also ask, just as you talked about just a few moments ago, about sometimes questioning yourself, sometimes wondering if this is really as much purpose and value as you can add.
Yeah.
And the question that I have for you, as you have started this center, and it's right center in where it needs to be, because I used to say, oh, it's too far away, but I said, no, it's right exactly where it needs to be,
Yeah.
because wherever our people are, that's where we need to be, and our people are there
Yeah.
and they need something that will help them and guide them. And it sends me back to when we last talked, how you talked about folk just come into the building and just look around and just feel the aura and the vibe and the spirit. And I thought about that all today. I said, very few places exist that are truly safe spaces, that are true places in which we can just let our hair down, even those like myself who don't have much, but
Yeah.
we can feel comfortable and we can feel alive and we can feel like our life has greater value than just how much money we have in an account or how new and fresh our clothes and our world made items are, but
Right.
how our spirit is being uplifted and living out the fullest design of its vision and purpose. And I think that that space does that. And I know that it's working to achieve that even to a higher and greater frequency. So I'm wondering, um, when you think about the folk that you're touching and the great spirits that are coming in contact with the work that you're working on, um, I'm wondering what are some superlatives and adjectives that you could use to describe these folk? Because we got a few on this to come on. And I'm just wondering, how would you describe and elaborate upon these wonderful and beautiful souls?
It's interesting because we get all types, right? And we're going to focus on the ones that allowed your soul to lead them there. Because I
Mm.
have had people walk through the front door, and it's almost as if they didn't even realize how they got there.
Wow,
Their soul
wow,
literally like
wow.
dragged them there, and they're like, I mean, I can go on with the different stories, and you would be like, whoa, right? So those people who are open, right, to trusting their soul, because your soul
Mm.
is trying to get you to get the tools, to get the teachers, to get what you need to elevate. Because that's where we are now. The vibration frequency that we're living in is one now that's challenging us to elevate, right?
Right.
And so the people that typically come through, the people that are on this call are souls that I like to refer to as souls that were willing and able to listen to the charge and come. Most of these people try to find some way to help the center, right? Because these type of things don't stay afloat by themselves, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
these people have all in their way contributed to the center, contributed to the system, the ARAT REIKI system. And that's why we're here, by the way. We're celebrating the 3-year anniversary
Wow.
of ARAT REIKI, right? We did the release party right here on this platform
Wow.
3
Wow.
years ago, like 3 years ago in a few weeks now, right? So
Wow.
and thank you again for giving us the opportunity to display the system and release it here. So these are incredible people. These are people who, I'm gonna use the word obedient. They are obedient to their higher self, right? They are able to tap into that higher vibrational frequency, even if they don't fully know what it's about.
Right.
But go without fear. People to walk into a place called the IRA Holistic Center in this day and age, right? We are ahead of ourselves, right? Because there's still so much negative stigma about anything Kemetic, right? Anything ancient Egyptian, especially with the eye,
Right.
and all the other misunderstandings about it. So these are incredible people who, like I said, were obedient to their inner self, their higher self. And all these people in their own way, they want the IRA system to flourish. And that is the kind of energy that we need in order to be ahead of our time and flourish.
You talk about flourishing, and I think to truly flourish, we have to be rooted in something that is flourishing or that is evolving or elevating or growing, right? Especially things that are adding value to our understanding, our comprehension, and our love. And the thing that I notice about the IRA, and I think it's important to break this down for those that don't know, because many times we hear these concepts or we hear these phrases, and immediately something inside us tells us, whoa, what's that? Should I be afraid of that? Should I be scared of that? And then sometimes you go to Google and you get an understanding that's misguided, that's very simple, right? And what I mean by simple is it misses the mark on explaining and expounding upon how much depth and how much realness is involved in this.
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? And it's like when people come to it and they see it and they're like, whoa, man, this is deep. I feel it's hit different, man.
Yeah.
Man, it's something else. What is it? And they think it's spooky, or they think it is somehow, in the clouds. But really what it is it's removing all of the limitations and all of the delusions that this system sometimes puts upon us to not be our best self or the best version of ourselves, if that makes sense.
And it's interesting because, I have a circle of spiritual people who have studied Kemetic mysticism for many years and are really knowledgeable. And I've been trying to encourage them. We have to go out there and rewrite the wrongs. Like, I literally went to Wikipedia and typed in IRA. And what I read, I was like, okay, let me fix this. So I fixed some of the, the mistakes. And I mean, within a few hours, the person who originally published it refuted it and removed it. And I was like, okay, see what I'm talking about? You have these gatekeepers, right? And I even made reference to, my one of my teachers, my preceptors, he's written, I think, over 60 books on the subject matter of ancient Kemet. I made reference to him as a viable source, and he didn't want to respect and recognize him as a viable source on Wikipedia, right? So this is what we're dealing with. These people, these gatekeepers, they want to control the information. They want to keep it scary. They want to keep packaging it in a way that is hard for us to want to embrace it. And so that's another reason why I'm doing this work, and I'm encouraging, the people in my circle we have to go out here and start. It's time for us to take up. This is our ancestral lineage, right?
Thanks.
Who are you if you are not from that lineage to be writing all of these books and all of these things about us? We are resurrecting this, so now we can correct the Egyptologists and all these other people who wrote these books based off of their misunderstandings, because it is in our DNA, and it's coming to the forefront.
You got me fired up. I'm excited. I'm ready to rock and roll right now. I'm ready to go, because you're absolutely right. We cannot allow people to write our narrative and our story and leave us out of it, or make us some kind of side note character. Now we got main character energy. We here. And we deal with it, and I'm happy.
Or interject the perverted misunderstanding, ignorance. There's so much of that out there, especially when it comes to what I consider the most. Ancient Kemetic mysticism. I've studied all types of religion and spiritual systems. For me, it's very pure, right? But if you can't get past the curtains and the window dressing that these characters do, put out there, like on Wikipedia, then you won't be able to know just how beautiful and how powerful and transformative ancient Kemetic mysticism and spirituality is. And that's different from studying it from a historical perspective. We have those key people in the communities that studied it upside down, inside out, from a historical perspective. But then you have those that are practitioners, such as myself. And when you are a practitioner, you have certain experiences, right? You go into different realms, and you get confirmations about certain things, right, regarding this, because now you are elevating yourself so that you can be susceptible to receiving that kind of information. And these Egyptologists and these other people, these fakers and naysayers, they don't have the capacity to plug in like that, and we do.
I'm glad you used the term plug in, because we're about to plug into some greater folk who are doing some wonderful things, and definitely edifying many of the principles and principalities that you shared with us. But I just wanted to, just bring this up. You've done so many great events in the community. And while, most folk would say you're new to the community, I think you paid your dues to the community and are continuing that. So I definitely want to commend you, because this is not the easiest thing to do on the menu. And many of our people don't understand serving our people and being a service unto our people is sometimes a very thankless and a difficult, challenging struggle.
Absolutely.
And I could go on, but I don't want to take up too much time. We got some great folks that's coming on. But I wanted you to speak to this, because you can.
It's amazing. It's amazing. See, when you understand, like, my life prepared me for this. Do you understand? Like, it for a while I didn't understand, but my life prepared me to have empathy for our people who were mentally broken, because I was once mentally broken, spiritually broken, emotionally broken. And if you haven't gone through that and really pieced yourself back together, and still piecing yourself back together, you can't really have the empathy that you will need at this high level to be accepting of the types of things that you will experience as a result of them still being hurt and still being broken and still being ignorant and not understanding. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Most people, if you haven't put in that work, that spiritual work yet, they can't withstand the pressure. It's a lot of pressure when the people, it's like, the people that you're trying to help sometimes turn around and not only turn away from the help, but sometimes they give you a couple of jabs on their way out. So it takes empathy and compassion, and it takes a person that is putting in the spiritual work to be able to do this and maintain this at a high level.
We have some folk that you have brought to join this conversation, I think, that epitomize that. And I definitely want you to introduce the first person that you'd like to bring on in second, so that we can get this conversation even deeper and stronger, because sister, you bring in the fire, you know what I mean? And you definitely are sharing with us some people who are inspired, not only by you, but by the inner light, to do greater work. and to do something that will add value to the community for generations to come. So I'll
Let's
close my
bring,
mouth so you can
yeah,
open
let's
yours.
bring them all on. We want to make it a family affair. Can we bring them
Cool,
all
cool,
on?
cool, cool. Let's
Yes.
try to get everybody in this
There we
thing.
go.
Okay. Let's try to get
All
everybody in this
right.
thing.
There
All
we go.
right.
Now I'm smiling. Look at those beautiful
Get
faces.
all the people up
Yay.
in here.
Hey.
And all the people up in here.
Now it feels like we're live and on.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely,
Here
absolutely.
we go.
Well, peace and blessings, everyone. It's an honor again to have you guys on the Conscious Mindset. And this sister, Aset, has been part and parcel of what we like to call a real conscious mindset. Someone who's locked in on elevating. Each time she comes on the program, it's just greater depth, greater understanding. And I'd like to ask, you all, and thank you for your time. Thank you for joining this conversation. Why is it so important to connect with kindred spirits and individuals who inspire you, who give you that spiritual enthusiasm, where you feel motivated, where you feel elevated, where you feel like you're doing something that's greater than just the bottom line? And you're doing something that hopefully will stand the test of time and add value to lives that are yet born. So I'm just wondering if this sister epitomizes those things and more, and what you are contributing to the community. I'll start with the divine. You can't go wrong with the divine. This is it wild. I want to make sure I say it correctly. How are you doing? And I hope that I said something that resonated with you, so you can speak and share some of your divinity.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Atep, and everyone on the call. Yes, so I am one of the ones that was brought to the center by Source, a higher being. I had no idea while I was there, while I was being led there. But now, of course, I definitely know that it was part of my purpose. Um, and for me to give of myself to the center as much as possible, because this is what we're supposed to be doing, And then I was brought up in the Baptist, that scary stuff that y'all were talking about. That's how I was raised. All of this stuff that I'm learning, it's me, but I knew all of this time growing up something more. What I was being told wasn't resonating with me, since I was a child. And I just knew that it was something more. I didn't know what that more was because I hadn't been exposed to it as of yet. And so when I allowed myself, and it took me literally to be broken, I was laid off from work. So I literally had to be sat down and
Wow.
sat still so that I could hear and open up my eyes, my third eye to say, and understand, and overstand what it is that I've been called to do. And so that's what has led me here to beautiful Aset and all the things that she has been partaking in, inputting into me. And it's just been an amazing experience so far. And I'm still just like a baby, with a sponge, and I'm soaking it all up. And it's been a tremendous ride. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. It has not been easy because I'm literally having to unlearn everything that the society has partaken and put into me, and just overwhelmed me with the educational system and the church and the religion, and the all the things that we've been told are the right way to do things, and the right religion in which to do it in. And so I'm unlearning all of that. And so this is like stripping me to my bare nakedness.
Wow,
And it's
wow. You
just
said bare nakedness. Whoa, that's something serious. Went deep. The divine done went
yes,
deep, man.
it is
Come
stripping
all the way in.
everything that I have ever thought I knew. It's just stripping it all away, one layer at a time. And I haven't even touched, the surface yet. It's
Wow.
still, I mean, I haven't touched, the bottom yet. It's still at the surface. So Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful that you started, right? And even though it might be a surface, it's definitely profound, right? And it's changing and transforming your life. We know for the
Yes.
better. So thank you for that, and thank you, dear
Indeed.
sister, for being divine. I want to go to the next sister, Antoinette. How are you doing this wonderful evening, dear
I
sister?
am.
Your smile is beautiful. Thank you for
Thank
that energy. It seems as if you are really excited about what's in store and what's happening in the future and what's going down. And I would imagine that Sister Aset and the center have some part to play in that enthusiasm. And I'm wondering, why has this captivated you? Why are you delving into this? Why are you contributing to this wonderful work that we're working with?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Divine light and love. I'll say what really pulled me in. I'll say this. I started my spiritual journey out of Christianity maybe a couple years ago. And when I found this world of spirituality, I felt like it was massive, right? Like
Mhm.
it's so much out there. Like, it's a lot of like it's a lot out there. So you have to be like really careful when you come out of church and into spirituality because it's a whole world and it can be very like confusing and it can be very like I don't know which way to go, which path to go. So it's about like really doing some mindfulness. So I really had to go within. And
Mhm.
then I came across a set earlier this year. So this was during a Black History Month program in February. She
Okay.
came, she was on a panel, and this sister was talking about some stuff that just really like that I'm familiar with, but I'm like, oh my gosh, she's speaking my language, talking about
Mm.
she was talking
Mm.
about the acculturation of us, what
Mm.
we went through in the acculturation and why so many of us are lost because we don't know who we are. So it's about tapping back into who we are, getting back
Mm.
to our ancestral roots.
Mm.
And so that's what I got from Aset. And I said,
Okay.
she seems like the real deal. And so
Mhm.
I had to know more.
That's real.
And
That's
so I
real.
came to the center. I just completed level 1 Reiki because see, my soul is calling me to healing.
Mm.
Everybody out here in this world needs us.
Mm.
We need us, right? This world needs, there's a lot of things going on, right? There's a lot
Right.
of crime, there's a lot of sickness. And so my soul, so the healing within me, I need healing. So my healing led me here. So I'm seeking my healing. And in the process of me healing my body, I'm going to heal others because that's what I incarnated to do on this earth in this
Ashe.
lifetime. And I know that for a fact.
Woo wee! She just dropped the mic on fire. Um, and thank you for that, sister. I love how you brought into the conversation the importance of healing and working through your process and in the process helping others work through theirs. That shows a great level of love, compassion, empathy, right? And those characteristics that our people should be elevating and glorifying and showing great gratitude. So we give thanks for you and your light, and thank you so very much for sharing that because that truly is beautiful. And I couldn't think of any other way to continue on this wonderful conversation and to bring in this beautiful male energy we have in the building, man. We got some brothers in here. We got some strong warriors in here. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely want to celebrate and highlight that and thank the brothers for taking time. We'll start with you can't go wrong with Hotep. We got Hotep and Rob, man. Come on, man. I can't lose with this, man. Hey, this is fire right here. So we'll go ahead and start with the elder of the two, with this beautiful smile and wonderful melanation. How you doing, Baba Hotep? I hope all is well. Peace and blessings unto you. And thank you for joining us in this conversation. Definitely love to get some of your wisdom and information about why this situation makes sense to you and how it's helping not only you, but hopefully others that you come in contact with so that there can be an elevation and growth as well.
Indeed. Well, uh, I start with a big dua
Dua.
to our beloved Aset. And to each of you, I say dua,
Dua.
adorations to your divine presence,
Ashe.
as we all are co-creators in the universe.
Mm.
So with that, I want to express our shared journey that Aset and I share with the Temple of Shetat Netter, Temple of Aset.
Mm.
And she referenced spiritual preceptor Dr. Muata Ashby, Sibai Ma, which we refer to as, which translates to mean preceptor, simply put, preceptor. Well, I want to express how not only awesomely proud I am, but also was also very inspired by Aset spreading her wings and taking on her unique call in the journey that she has embarked upon. 3 years ago, I visited Aset at the location, I think it was her first, or one of her first locations, December of 2020. And she demonstrated to me the REIKI from the Kemetic perspective. Now, we first, of course, in order to accept any methodology of healing, is that we have to understand first is that we are vibrational beings. Energy, yes?
Ashe.
And so if we are vibrational beings, we are in fact that, then it would only make sense that your healing modality would be an energetic, come from an energetic perspective. And that energetic perspective will be about aligning yourself or tuning yourself into the universal sound or the universal energy or the universal network. We call it God's Wi-Fi, if you will. Okay? Because most of us are operating on our individual identity connection, how we perceive things to be. But what ARAT REIKI does is enable you to tune in to the supreme Wi-Fi network. And in doing so, one gains greater clarity of their purpose of being. And that is the objective of the Eye of Ra Center. My website is starconsciousness.com. And the theme of my website is that as in the teachings of the ancients, that the stars of the heavens are in fact souls born on earth, but on a forgotten quest of remembrance. And that every individual or person that we all encounter are actually self-created clues to remind us of who we really are. In the remembrance adventure of source, energy, identity, empowerment. The real IQ, the inner quest, or if you will, the immortal quest. And so with that, I'll pause there and I'll yield the floor back to you and everyone else. And
you went real deep, brother. You got me. I'm sitting here, the God's Wi-Fi and the identity and the individual identity connection. That was deep, my brother. Thank you for giving us that light and also sharing that in a way in which will enliven us and enrich our lives for many, many moons to come. So that just goes to show your great wisdom is extremely important, and we're happy to have your spirit in the presence of us. We'll definitely learn more about your website as we have this conversation continue on. We want to get to this dear brother. Even though he's in the darkness, we see he's bringing the light. Oh, so right. And doing it the best way possible. Make sure your sound is on, good brother Ra, and I hope all is well. Peace unto you.
Peace to the panel. Blessings, Hatep, Dua, Uncle Jasineb, life, vitality, and health to you all. It's an honor, family, and it's good to see y'all. Do I got enough light? Is this enough light?
Yeah, you good.
I'm good. Okay. Man, where should I start? I could definitely start at when I just first met Sebati. This was back, man, I want to say maybe 2018. I met Goddess Aset, this when I first started my entrepreneurial quest and started my own swim school. Me and a couple of my brothers, we own a swim school. We teach all ages, yada, yada, yada. Well, we get back to that. But in the midst of that, you know, I was also on a spiritual journey where a lot of people started really participating in this awakening that started to happen in like 2016, 2017. A lot of people started to get into the, you know, the ancient aliens and all that stuff, you know, broke a lot of people out of it, you know, got them searching into just the ancients when it comes to the architecture and the archaeology and the things that was being discovered, that all this knowledge before that you just did not have at your fingertips. And it began to flood the internet. And so myself, just, you know, just knowing that I needed to seek out a genuine teacher, somebody who had genuinely put in the work and really had a grasp on how this system is working, you know. And, you know, a lot of us is drawn to Kemet because of its pure glory. You know, it's the three pyramids sitting along there. Just speak enough, say enough said is done. So the things that even drew me to Kemet. And so when I came across Goddess Aset and started to, we went on a Reiki path, and that purification process, you know, we talking about the healing and what it means to walk this walk and to put the work in. And I know people use terms like shadow work, and it boiled down to that, getting to the understanding of this higher and lower self. What are we doing? What are we cleaning ourselves up from? And we know now exactly what it is that we are purifying ourselves from. And, you know, they talk about the acculturation. So this is Western culture that you have to cleanse yourself from. And going through that process, this is the most, it's like, you know, the most humbling process for sure. You know, adorations to Goddess Sekhmet, you know, to really help bring that purification process really into furnace. And like they saying, like she was saying, it is an infinite process that you start to take your step on, and you learn to pace yourself. And that's one of the best things that I could say about having Sebati Aset, because she has made this journey something that is you, as you step into the I am, you know, you stepping into the all consciousness, you're you know, trying to live up to the divine self, and knowing that the mind is the ruling thing we created with our thoughts and all the other emotions that follow us forth, and being able to cleanse and purify that. So we have that, like, so elegantly put by Asar, was that divine clarity to come in. And that's what you see people, things is working out, you know. Yes, this is life, because we live in here, down here, you're living here, you have this very physical work that you put in, but on a mental level, the sustaining of the higher self is what brings the clarity and the freedom. And it's like, oh, people, y'all moving so free out here. It's all this chaos going on. But it's not as chaotic when you putting things into order. And it takes time to establish that order. You know, it's all a work in progress. And I'm grateful. And being a level 2 practitioner and working on people in the community, playing sound bowls. We talk about healing through frequency and vibration. So playing the sound bowls. I have I also play the djembe, which was handmade over in Ghana. It has our Kemetic symbols on there. So you know that thing rocking. And I've just been in, you know, and being in areas and facilitating healing for the community, you just know how necessary it is just from healing yourself. When you heal yourself with this work, that's when you know, like, oh, you know, it's like you tell your friend, hey man, look at this. I just found this new stuff out. You should do this, you know, do this, pick this up. That's the kind of feeling that come over you once you start tapping into the knowledge and you start to apply it to your life, and things begin to progress in an upward moving manner.
I'm glad you said that, my brother, because I think, you know, we all want to go in a forward progression. We all want to move forward. We all want to, you know, do things better this year than we did last year. And we're all looking forward to next year being better than this year, right?
Come on.
And the thing that I'm thinking about as I listen to all of you is it sounds like this sister and the work that you all are contributing to the universe and to our society, and specifically our people, is geared and rooted in progress. That was a word that I heard etched in almost every discussion. You know, I made some changes. I'm going through, you know, relearning some things. I'm making some steps forward, and I'm taking some steps so that I can begin to be a better me in the future tense. Yes. And the question that I have, starting out with you, sister, I said, and then, you know, going to the other brothers and sisters who are sharing so much light and love to you. I don't know if you paid them, but good sister, they talking that talk about you, baby. I mean, they love you. They feeling it. And I am too. And I'm wondering for those folk out there saying, you know, I hear all this and everybody say they this, and once I get in, it's nothing but chaos and confusion, the same old, same old. You know, what separates these folk and yourself to where you can do what Brother Ra talked about, the order, to where you can do what Brother Hotep talked about in tapping into the God Wi-Fi, and you can understand what Sister Antoinette said in knowing her divine purpose and knowing that she is healing and here to help others heal. And you could do what Sister Twyla's doing, saying, my name is divine. She's putting it out there. She letting you know what time it is. She letting you know what kind of energy she's presenting and what kind of energy she wants returned unto her. And it's just a beautiful thing, because you know, Black folk been scared to tap into that energy for a long time. And, you know, to see spirits that are so aware of their divinity and acting in accordance with the divine, it's very humbling and gratifying. And I'm wondering, you know, in terms of, you know, the movement and the understanding, how can this opportunity right here bring about the kinds of things that people can say, that's real. I feel that. Oh, you know what? I might not get down with all of it, but the parts that I do get down with, hey, it's 100.
Yeah, well, first I want to say thank dua to everyone for sharing their experiences. You know, chaos in the world is a manifestation of men and women living outside of Ma'at, men and women living outside of divine order. So, you know, when people start moving towards Ma'at, they have to remember that the chaos is within them, right? That's where it's sourcing. And even when you come to an organization that's trying to help propagate Ma'at, people are coming with their chaos. And so sometimes there's going to be chaotic moments. That doesn't negate the authenticity of the intent or of the practice, right? So some people, they get discouraged. They say, oh, you know, there's some mess going on in there, but you want to focus on that. You want to focus on the chaos within yourself and your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own conscious, projection, so that you can help to mitigate that within you, and then help to mitigate that external, right? So first and foremost, chaos is not indicative of lack of authenticity. So you will encounter that. And a lot of people, they're looking for perfection. They're looking for perfection in spiritual teachers. If this spiritual teacher do one thing wrong, I'm out. They're looking for spiritual perfection in an organization or a structure, and you shoot your own self in the foot when you're looking for that in order to extrapolate or stay long enough to get the things that your soul need, right? So, that's just something that I want to say, throw out there. When the soul is ready, everything that the soul needs to propel will appear, right? So even the ARAT REIKI system, I tell people it's designed to push you along, right? This is not a one-stop shop. Get what your soul needs you to get, and hopefully we can get everyone to talk and brief about some of their personal experiences with the system, like what they, because there's some fascinating stories amongst this.
Fascinating.
But I just want people to look at it like this. It's a process, right? And one of the things that's really important for people to understand, I know we're in this information age and people are getting a lot of information from a lot of different sources. And I hear a lot of people say things like, I don't need a spiritual teacher. The divine is within me. I'm the guru. They say all these things that sound lofty, but they're really misleading and ignorant. Because if we needed a teacher to teach us all these mundane things in life, we needed someone to teach us how to brush our teeth, right? How to feed ourselves, right? How to read, how to write, how to do all of these basic things. But now all of a sudden, the most convoluted thing, which is spiritual elevation, realigning yourself with divine consciousness, higher consciousness, is now suddenly the easiest thing. You can just teach yourself. That's like narcissism at its finest. And it's the way that the ego deludes the person so that they don't do the work, so that they don't humble themselves and sit at the feet of a teacher or teachers, right? And so that's the biggest problem right now. People have to be humble. Any person that's a good teacher, they sat at someone's foot, right? They had to eat humble pie, I assure you, right? And so that's just one of the things that I encourage people. If you are sincere about spiritual evolution, you are going to need teachers, authentic teachers, and they're not going to be perfect, but that doesn't mean that they don't have what you need, because perfection is relative. What you are looking for to define them as perfect is not what another person may need, them to manifest, to deem them perfect. So what you want to look for is authenticity, sincerity, and a person that has demonstrated growth in their life. And so the person I am today is not the person I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, right? I could bring a whole slew of people up here to tell you, to validate, oh, that person changed. That's what you're looking for when it comes to spiritual teachers, because they're going to show you and help you use the methodology that they used, and hopefully to help you on your journey.
Thank you for that. And I think we're all strengthened on our journey in understanding the importance of sincerity and authenticity. I'm just wondering to those that are on this wonderful and beautiful panel, I'm wondering in terms of how you perceive yourself, how have you gotten over loving on that person that you used to be while still elevating and becoming the person that you need to become? Because I would imagine that there takes some sense or semblance of forgiveness or a greater understanding of acceptance. Because many times as we grow and we learn, we realize, whoa, I didn't know that. Man, I was tripping. Wow, I did that. And just shake your head sometimes. And, that can leave a lot of folk to feel a little bit of consternation and anger and resentment toward themselves. So I'm just wondering, How have you worked through those things? And I'm asking, I'll ask the divine. We got to start with the divine mind. Sister Twyla first. You know, you even have talked about, just the progression and dealing with this new you. I'm wondering, how have you worked through, if at all, the fact that sometimes there can be some challenges with accepting who you once were and now who you've become?
Glad you asked. uh, well, now that you say that, no, I'm literally working through that as we speak. Um, I just recently, along with Antoinette, finished my Reiki level one, or Reiki level one, and I am now going through those coaching sessions. And I had a full Reiki session before I even went through the ARAT Reiki level one. And so now I am going through that phase where I am having to look at the old me and some of the things that I'm realizing, triggers me, and digging down deep and understanding, why is that triggering you? What energy is that bringing? Working my way through those emotions and understanding it's okay to have those emotions, where before I was burying those emotions and trying not to feel, trying not to cry, because I was told if you cry, you're weak. And I'm the strong one in the family. I'm the one
Mhm,
everybody,
mhm,
depends on. I'm that rock, and now I have to deal with, it's okay to be soft. It's okay to cry. It's okay not to be there for everybody. It's okay to say no, and that's a hard thing for me. Well, it used to be, until I learned that I have healing in my hands, and I can work my way through those emotions and those energies, and understand what they are. And then when I'm stuck, I have a mentor, to help me through those. Because, I just attended a class the other day, and everything, all they were saying throughout was, get a mentor, get a mentor, get a mentor. You're not going to reach the level you want to get to if you don't have a mentor. And the mentor can help you, elevate you a little bit quicker than you would on your own. So, I really do believe in having that mentor work and elevate and help you understand and help you think your way through, not tell you how, but
mhm.
allow you to think your way through these things,
Wow, that's
because that's how you're going to learn to be able to think them through when you're by yourself. Your mentor is not there with you 24 hours a day. So I need to understand how my mind works and what things I need to work my way through to get to the other side. So, and loving myself, and really truly, I had a test, and I had to go back and talk to my childhood self and
Mhm.
love on her, because there were some things that I left and I thought, oh, I had it all together. Nothing happened in my childhood. I was good. I found out that's not true, and so I really had to work on that. It wasn't so obvious. It's those layers that you work your way through. And then sometimes they're really dredged deep, deep, deep. Those roots go deep, and you don't realize it until something really does trigger you, and you use those tools that we've been taught to work our ways to understanding why, what happened, what's triggering that, what do you feel, so that's how I'm figuring out how to work my way through and loving myself in the process.
Thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned layers, and I saw a little bit earlier before you said that. Dear Sister Antoinette, she was shaking her head and she was smiling. That's when I know we on point. When she get to smiling and get to shaking that head and moving, I already know. Okay, we saying something. And I'm wondering, this sister, in the things that she was conveying, it just overcame my mind and hit me like a ton of bricks. Is that this is a process, and this is going to require some work. This ain't no, you just, what I mean, just buy some on Amazon and it come, and then you just pop a pill, or you just watch a YouTube and you good. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you're gonna have to put in some sweat equity,
And
and
I and I just want to say I'm so grateful that Twyla is talking about the coaching piece, because the Reiki session, people love that, right? They come in with the monkey on their back, and they can get the monkey released, and then they go back into the world. And then the monkey slowly gets back on their back, and the monkey is the frustration, the pain, the anxiety, everything that brought them to the center. But the most critical piece is the coaching, coming back to do the cognitive work. And the cognitive work is key because that's where the transformation really begins to unfold to the degree where it becomes static. It doesn't, you get to a point where it doesn't sway anymore. And that's the goal. And that is a lengthy process, but it's doable. And that's what one of the things that we're doing through the coaching work that we do at the center through the ARAT REIKI system.
Ashe. And thank you for sharing that. I think as she shared that, I was thinking again about what you said a little bit earlier, Miss Antoinette, in terms of healing while you're helping others heal. I think about that, and that goes into coaching and mentorship and womantorship. Why is that such an important aspect of your existence right now? Because a lot of times, you know, I'll speak for myself. You know, I got to get myself right. You know, I got to get mine. You got to get yours at some point. You know that hey, that's on you, baby. But why have you taken the approach of saying, you know, I want to heal while I help others do that as well?
Okay. All right. So I've taken that approach because, and I'll have to just share this because sometimes I like to be humble about what I do. So my profession is I'm a licensed therapist. So I do work with people and help them with using the cognitive behavior therapy skills, right? So as I became a therapist, I realized that, oh my God, like I got some stuff too. Like, it's like you're drawn into this field because you have so much. Like my childhood, I have so many, right? I've overcome so many challenges, so many traumas. My father is a narcissist, having neglectful parents, being a part of the Me Too movement, all of these things, right? So I got into therapy to become a therapist because I needed it the most. And I just realized that, right? So as I'm helping people, I'm like, wait a minute, just like Twyla talked about layers, we have layers to us, right? So when we think we completed one, there's something else that pops up and shows this ugly head, like, oh, where this come from? This anger, this trigger over here. And, my dad said this, and I'm like, breaking down in shambles. And so it's the reason why is because we do have to, it is about accountability. I think someone said something about, like, I have to get this for me. No one can heal me. I have to heal myself. I have to do the work, right? I have to meditate. You don't have to. You don't have to. But it's a choice. I choose to meditate. I choose to calm my mind because that's how I have emotional control, right? I have to, do the Reiki method, the methods in the book, right? So like doing my altar veneration, going to my ancestors, like all of that, it is empowering me to heal, right? So I didn't know like how much I didn't know until I knew, and
Wow.
there's still more to know. Like I'm still learning, and I'm so grateful to that I can be humble and like and go to Aset to help, like because I didn't know anything about comedicism. I didn't know anything about any of those things, and then I got into it and I'm like, oh my God, like this fits me. Like there are so many other things, and I keep saying there are so many other things out there because there is, and you could be led astray very quickly. But when you know that someone is authentic and genuine and they want the best for you, then you follow after that person. You don't, that's, yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And
Yes.
your brother, she made it tough for you to follow after her, but I think Baba Hotep, I think that you're capable and competent enough to meet the task at hand. I'm wondering, as someone who has um, earned the right to be a handsome gray beard brother, um, I'm wondering, in terms of your encouragement about the future, but also being honest and retrospective about the past. as a man who I could only imagine has seen some things and been through some things, I'm wondering, as you've reached this state of maybe even nirvana or higher development in consciousness, what would you say to younger men or even your younger self to impart the wealth of wisdom and the consciousness that you possess so that they can move forward and be blessed to not only achieve greater success, but to fulfill their life's purpose or to start the journey and process as I've imagined that you have done. And one of the reasons why you're here tonight. So definitely love to close my mouth and allow you to share some of your light.
Well, indeed. And thank you for that. And thank each of you for the light and the love that each of you shine and radiate, emanate. I first want to acknowledge that this is a symbiotic adventure of remembrance. That each of us bear a light of consciousness that is unique to each of us in our own journey. And we enter into this realm from the non-physical with a message of that light of consciousness or awareness. So the first thing that I would remind my younger self, or any soul that would care to listen, is who you really are, truly. And that is that you are a celestial, intelligent being. Celestial, light being. A celestial, immortal being. Now, your immortality, by definition, is infinite in its nature, which means it's limitless, endless, beyond space, extent, or size. Your immortality is so grand that you had to choose to embark upon a journey to cloak or veil your immortality to show how grand you really are. Meaning that you had to choose as an immortal being to take on a finite or limited or mortal form in a remembrance quest of your immortality in mortal form. We are all on the same adventure of remembrance of our true identity. So we all have, as I mentioned, a light of consciousness or awareness to bring with measures of clarity and cloudiness based on the conditioning, or in the Kemetic word, the REU, the karma, the karmic residue from the experiences of our past in this lifetime and previous lifetimes that were a part of the cloaking of your true identity in order for you to have this remembrance adventure. So we get to do our meditation. We get to enjoying relationships. Why? Because this is a part of the discovery process. And when we take on the framework or the perspective of realizing that it is an adventure of remembrance of my own choosing, that I'm no longer a victim. I'm the writer of my script, and everything that I thought to be or was described to me as a trauma was actually purposely a hidden treasure for me to discover. And in the discovery of that so-called trauma, and it is to be converted as a means of triumph, which means it becomes a treasure of my empowerment of my true identity. That's all the trauma is, a hidden treasure to discover your true power, as I refer to your star power. So, consciousness, which is the only true reality, emanates as light, the supreme consciousness of who and what this supreme creator is, emanates in a fractal of lights, as what the ancient sages and saints call stars of the heavens. In my teachings and taking it further, I refer to the stars in a poetic redefining of an existing word, in order to unveil the vibrational meaning. So star, for instance, I define as a soul that alters reality. Now, we have the dictionary definition where you look up and you see a star says celestial light being. Well, it just turns out that not too long ago, just this year, there's a 60-minute expose called The Origin of Everything, in which the 60-minute interviewer interviewed a team of astrophysicists that were discussing the live streams that are coming back from the Webb Space Observatory, just launched in 2021, December 25th. And the short of it is, this astrophysicist says, what we thought or what we said was theory, we now know to be a fact, and that is how stars are formed. But they even went further to say this. There are 3 elements that are vital to human life that are only formed in stars. The supernova. Those 3 elements, first and foremost, is oxygen. The next is iron, which is necessary to transport the oxygen to all your vital organs. And the next is calcium. These 3 elements are on the periodic table. So if we want to help my younger self or any youngsters in understanding something in the basic chemistry class, is that the sustenance or the sustainability of human life is consistent with the formation of stars itself. You literally are star stuff. Literally star stuff. So it's not a bunch of just jargon of highfalutin terminology and all of this to inspire and motivate. Although that's good, you are a star, literally and figuratively. You are a star. You are a soul. You are a soul that alters reality. Now, what do I mean by altar? Because there's two spellings of altar. There's ALTARS, altar.
Oof.
And altar, of course, we know is something that you show a place of reverence and respect and adoration for, right? An altar, right?
Yes.
Acknowledging of something higher than your so-called self. Well, as it turns out, what stars do in our essence when we alter reality is acknowledging the supreme source of my light, of being. Which means that everything that I see, everything that I experience is the divine presence of the supreme being. This is how I am altering. I'm showing respect and reverence to everything I experience in this creation, because there isn't anything that is here that is not divine. All things are the creation of the supreme absolute being. And as I hold this state of consciousness or mind or attention in the space of everything that I see, hear, experience, smell, taste, feel, etc., through the senses, that state of consciousness puts me in a place of altering, ALTERS, reality, which means now the light of consciousness that I bring emanates to the point where I now become a change agent. I influence, alter, or change my world, my reality, and thus reverberate in the world around me. That's what stars do. They shine, right?
Yes, sir. Wow.
This is what has been present with us from the beginning of time. I'm not saying anything new. And this is what you'll find on starconsciousness.com. And one last thing I'd like to leave with you is these three questions. Why, first of all, let me ask this. Why is it, do you think, humanity has had such an intimate relationship with stars? Why? There's got to be a reason. It's deeply embedded in the human psyche. You can even call it an archetype. Think about it for a moment. The star has been the only symbol in the journey of humanity that has been a symbol in three categories I've come to understand. First is, it's been a symbol for divinity, where it either announces the coming of higher consciousness, or the symbol of a religion, okay, such as depicted in different religions, Star of David, Star of this, Star of that, to depict a religion. The second area is excellence. Star has been used as a symbol of excellence. How? Well, from the time, think about this, from the time the baby comes out the womb, boop, into the crib, and the little mobile is turning around, the kid is up looking, they're seeing stars, and they just left the non-physical stars of the universe. And so even when they come into this three-dimensional holographic realm, they're lying on their back. We lied on our back, and for those who also had the benefit, we're looking up at stars and the mobiles turning. If that's not enough, then in kindergarten or preschool, now we're given stars to reinforce good behavior. If that's not enough,
yeah, you're right.
If that's not enough, then you're given stars as a means to reinforce good performance, academic performance of different colors, until you begin to comprehend and understand the A, B, C, D, E, F, so to speak. You got stars of different colors. And the last category is that the star also depicts self-mastery. Think about it. Any industry on this planet, when a person achieves above average are supernormal or extraordinary feats or achievements, if they are head and shoulders above all the rest, what are they called?
A star.
They're called a star in their own right, because they are exhibiting the star power of the celestial might. And this is what we admire and adore, because they're reminding us of who we really are.
Ooh, man, man, you starring on something right now, man. You starring on something. You stirring it up, because you got us thinking about something that we see so commonly and consistently and never really put in the proper perspective, if you will, or state of consciousness. We got on the screen starconsciousness.com. Please make sure you check that out, because this brother is putting down some serious information. And I definitely think that you have not only started something, but I think that it's going to enlighten us and definitely get us to see that we truly have main character energy. As I said at the start of the show, we starring in this thing, and we got to take it to the top. I can't think of any other way to put a bow on that, dear brother, and bring Sister Aset hopefully back in to wrap with you, Brother Rob, because you talked about the sound bowl. And, one of the things that I wanted to tap in with you, and of course, anything your spirit is moved to share, we're open to hear. But as we hear those sounds, those vibrations, it sometimes can start elevating us and engaging us and cleansing us of sorts, and then we can begin to tap into that star that we are, and it can take us even farther and further in degree and distance than many of the other mechanisms we may choose and use. So I would love for you to break down why folk got to get tapped in to not only the music that you getting and breaking down, but the sound and the importance of that sound as we cleanse our spirit, because we hear sound all the time. Y'all are hearing the sound of my voice right now, but we need to hear certain vibrations that will help aid and abet in our elevation and take us to a new situation, if you will, with greater information.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Sounds, and I think you really hit on point when you just even spoke about the voice, and that being the sound and the vibration alone in itself, and your fact that the words, along with your thoughts, your words being the things that help create your reality. And so if you're speaking particular ways about yourself or about others, this how people they don't know that they're speaking themselves maybe into particular traps or circles, just having negative speaking patterns about themselves. This just in one way, the vibrations is immense. Like once the vibration is out, then it's out there now, and it's going up to the stratosphere, and it's coming back down through the electromagnetic field, and it's working this magic. And so when it comes to the vibrations, we talking a more of a tuned sound to like the earth, the earth's own vibration. We talking the cosmic, the sun, all these things are vibrating and essentially creating a sound with their movement. And with that, we have particular hertz frequencies that are in attune with these same vibrations. So the vibration of the earth, we have tones for that, along with the cosmos, and this even go back to you hear the chant, the Om, that being registered with the 432 hertz and being the sound of the cosmic. So with the sound bowls, they are attuned to the 432 hertz, but then each bowl has its own hertz corresponding to the colors, okay? To the color scale, just your chakra system or your ARAT, all right, your RE2s, okay, let me speak. And also along with those different vibrations. We know that we talk in Western culture, and back in sometime, I can't even remember the year right now off the top of my head. I'm going to just roughly say early 1900s. They changed the overall scale of music over to the 440 hertz, and they done did many experiments with these hertz, putting them with the cymatics, with the sand, and they do the reverberation, and you get these very beautiful patterns when it's a beautiful harmonious sound. And then you have it when they put a different certain vibrations is distorted, and it's a chaotic symbol that might appear in these particular in a particular pattern, so this is like in the same way, speaking negative. We have people, we all love hip hop, you feel me? I grew up on hip hop, but in the real scheme of things, I cannot and wanting to elevate myself, continue to listen to things that technically are downgrading me, that are speaking down about me and my community. And in ways, we are being influenced by these vibrations and being motivated and pushed to maybe do things that's not really in our true character of our spirit, but is now being contaminated in a way, by the negative vibrations that's being pumped out. That's why you don't be on your TV too long. All these things that's been artificially emitted through Western culture and the technology that has been made. And so this is why it's important to tap into these pure vibrations so that you can cleanse yourself and you help energize yourself, which if you're clean, and we go through this purification and we cleanse ourselves with the food, with the vibrations, then you get your breathing also in tune, which helps increase your strength of your vibration, because your mind, your breath, and your heart rate all run in congruence together. So you want to bring these things into harmony as you cleanse yourself. You're bringing the breath and the heart and the mind into harmony, which helps increase your energy field, which undoubtedly help keep you nice and pure and clean, and keeping your vibrations around you, at least for the time being, until you got to sit back down under the sound bowls again. You got to sit down and meditate again. You have to make sure you get up and you speak your affirmations. This is the best part about the ARAT Reiki practice, is because these are the things that is embedded in our daily practice. Like, you get up and you have your time you spend at the altar, you have your prayers that you say to help put that positive vibrations, the sound vibrations, out into the universe that's going out before you leave the door, before you sit down at your computer and work. These are the things that you're emitting out so that you can have this beautiful day set in front of you, because you have already established this through the vibrations that you emit, from you making music, from you speaking, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say all the instruments, they have a purpose, that correspond with the organs in the body, and help bringing about the healing within the self. So it is about the music and the things that help really move the spirit as well. So I hope that answered. It was a good breakdown for you as far as just the importance of the sound, because the sound is just like we talk about the supreme consciousness and a star. It's like that. What's the word I'm looking for? The saying. Everything is everything.
Everything is everything.
Everything is divine. You know what I'm saying? So it's just we learning how to get out of that individualistic mindset and get into that all encompassing, where you fall in alignment, you see how things are all working together instead of just being this one particular part and aspect of it. It is more the all encompassing working together, to make things operate and flow, effortlessly.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Sister Aset, thank you for tapping back in. Your dear friend and brother in consciousness, Roz, been breaking down the importance of sound.
I've been
And
listening to him in the backstage.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, and you know, it was real cool how you left because, you know, and many times, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and vice versa. But sometimes the students without the teacher lose focus. You know, they lose direction, and they don't really have the same fervor and passion. But when the teacher left, hey man, they started going in. Bro, Baba was going in the stars. Brother Rob was going in. I mean, they were tapping, man. They were on. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that's so
So you saying it
gratifying.
was good that I left?
No, no, see, there you go. Do it. No, that ain't what I'm saying. I'm saying it's good that you're around people who are good, even if you're in their presence or not.
Oh
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
that's
And
great.
and that shows the mark of a really great mentor and womentor is that the light that they emanate and permeate and express is their own and not your shadow. You know what I'm
Absolutely,
saying? And I think that
absolutely.
that's beautiful
Yes,
because many times, and I know that this is something that you do, you know, with great consequence and great focus, is that you empower people to empower others so
yes,
that we are all powerful rather than one entity being all powerful, if that makes sense.
absolutely.
You know, and I think that's one of the things that teachers get caught up in many times is I'm all powerful, worship me. You know, I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm the master, right? Rather than understanding, you know, we want folk to become masterminds, right? You know, we want the brilliance and the star energy, as Baba was talking about, to emanate in all of us and elevate each one of us. So that's why I think the center is so special,
Yeah,
is it centers us so that we can be the best version of ourselves. I'm
absolutely.
wondering, as we have these great events popping up and you got so many folk excited about it and really looking forward to it, you know, what do you envision, first of all, the center becoming, and you know, the community aiding and abetting in it becoming that? I think that's important to share as well, but also why these events are occurring and why folk need to support in whatever shape, formation, and fashion that their spiritual insight and their consciousness can guide and devise for them to do so that the center can be at the center of what is good, what is righteous, and what elevates love, light, and peace in our lives.
Yeah, beautiful. You know, I just want to go back to what you were saying initially. When we understand that we are all emanations of the Creator, right? So we are literally all a part of the same body, right? I may be a fingernail, you know, you may
Yeah,
be a toenail, you may be a hair strand. We are all a part of the Supreme Divinity's body. We don't even think about it like that, right? Think about
yeah,
we have billions of cells in our body all doing their own thing, right? But when those cells are in divine harmony, when they all are doing what they're supposed to do, they work on behalf of the person. When we are all manifesting how the divine wants to manifest through us, then we are all that's harmony. And so we all want to just simply understand, what is our divine role? What did I really come here to do? Am I doing it? You know, what is my divine purpose? And that is what the center wants to help people figure out and give them whatever tools we can offer to ignite them, propel them, move them on their journey so that we can elevate the vibration of this planet. And we already know that this is not popular. So we always need support. We need people to come to the center, find out ways to lend a helping hand. We like Twyla, she's volunteered a lot of her services. Ra, he's volunteered, you know, so we're always looking for volunteers. Financial support is always a plus. You can, if you don't want to just give us some money freely, come buy something from the center. We have a metaphysical shop. We have classes. There's so many ways. We have Painting with a Purpose coming up on the 27th. And the 28th, I wish we could have put a picture of it, of what we're going to be painting. But if you go to the website, all the information is there. So plug in, find out what we have going on, find out what floats your boat, tap in. We have a lot of other creative things coming down the pike. We're going to be doing like waste bee classes. We have a bunch of herbs in the center that we are packaging. I have a source in Jamaica. I got all of these Jamaican herbs fresh off the bush. We have the purple moss, sea moss, fresh out the ocean. Everything is there. So we are really getting ready to get into that holistic piece now, providing the herbs, providing the support. How do you use the herbs? I've been using the herbs, and I can tell you right now, these herbs from Jamaica are everything. So we got that coming down the pipe. And we are still trying to get the cafe open. So we definitely need some support with that. We want to really get the restaurant built out high level. And that's taking more time than we anticipated, but it's still in motion.
Wow.
So,
that's beautiful.
Let's make this happen. I've already been told that, by visionaries that they see ARAT centers all over the world. Wow. I'm like, okay, I'll plug into that. I mean, there's people behind the scenes doing things, trying to make sure that happens. So if there's going to be ARAT centers all over the world, we need practitioners.
Facts.
Run those centers.
Facts.
If you feel like you have a calling to do this work, check us out.
Definitely. And I think it is a calling. It's a higher calling, right? That is moving folk to do things that would transform the lives of those who are here and those who have yet to arrive on this pathway. I want to ask this question to each of you, and I think I'll get an answer from each one of you that will be different, but all tapped in and rooted in love, compassion, and higher consciousness. You said something I said maybe 2 shows ago. You said we've become so inundated with the chaos and confusion in this realm that many people don't want to reincarnate and come back. Folk don't want to even experience this again. It ain't like folk don't want to come back and be a coyote or a rat. No, they don't even want to come in the human form. They don't even want to deal with this. They done. I need something else. And I thought about that. I thought about that because I think our spirits need to be here because there are spirits that need for us to be here, to be an example, right? Or at the very least, to encourage and hopefully to breathe in the breath of inspiration into those that will study and hopefully learn from the legacy we lead and live and give. So I'm hoping that spirits will not only come to paint with purpose, but understand on this canvas of life that they need to use the paintbrush right so that they leave something that will leave an indelible mark upon those who are able to witness. And I think that you are doing that. You're using your paintbrush very well, my sister, and you helping others use theirs as well. So I'm wondering, in terms of what you're painting for the future, Sister Aset, what do you see forth, and what colors and what artistic expression do you see it manifesting in days to come?
That's a very interesting question. A part of my spiritual practice that I do daily, when I'm communing with the divine, one of the things that I will share, which is kind of private, but I'll share, that I say to the divine is that I bring to you, and this comes from a Kemetic passage, I am your palette, and I bring to you the ink pot. That is what I say to the divine. If you think about that, you're saying, I am your palette, and I bring you the ink pot. So essentially what that is saying is that let thy will be done. Let me be a manifestation of divine will. And so my vision isn't even relative. It doesn't even matter, right? It's whatever the divine decides to paint on this canvas each and every day. That's what it shall be. because that's where I am. That there's nothing else really worth pursuing for me. And when we talk about not wanting to come back here, it's not something that we can just dictate and say, I'm not coming back here. Usually if you're saying that, you're going to be coming back here.
Oh, wow.
It's that, right? And when you study Kemetic mysticism, they teach you and show you what is needed in order for you not to reincarnate. And that is a part of what I disseminate and teach those students that are ready. I teach students how I was taught in degrees. So once you take a teaspoon of the medicine, you integrate that into your life, it brings about a certain level of healing, then I can give you another teaspoon. And it takes a lot of teaspoons, let's just say, not to reincarnate again.
Wow. Thank you for that, my sister. Sister Antoinette, I'd like to ask you something similar too as well. You know, what specific things are you striving to create so that you know, your life's work and the art that you leave behind will help others find the divine, and also the divinity they need to express, and the purpose at which they have to be on this planet with the time and place and space that they exist in?
Okay, I kind of like I could piggyback off what Aset said, like whatever like spirit guides me to do, right? So because that can change day by day, as long as like I feel like as long as I'm exemplifying to the highest degree my higher self, and that I am in alignment, that's what's important to me. So making sure that I'm aligned with my purpose, and I'm on my way. Like, so I feel like I'm walking that path, but I don't have all the answers. I just know that the path that I'm walking. So for me, it's a mindfulness journey. It's a journey to mindfulness. Like, I am taking it one step at a time and one day at a time, because if I think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like that's going to create like the chaos in my mind. So it's not to do that. I know that, you know, the canvas and the painting is healing for me. So this is a healing journey. So whatever that looks like tomorrow, or whatever that looks like 5 years from now, I am open and receptive to whatever like divine has for me.
Beautiful. Brother Ra, you know, I wanted to ask you some of the same similar things as well, because, you know, I've seen your work and it works. And I know that, you know, you got some more work in store. I'm wondering, you know, is there an album? Is there another way for folk to tap into the great things that you're doing and displaying, so that other folk can realize the realization that I believe that you shared with us earlier, in terms of saying that you're doing things that are making not only beautiful sounds, right, and a melodious melody, but more importantly, something that is food for the soul, and is, you know, that soul music that creates a movement for us to go and elevate and gratify and hopefully glorify those things that are greater than ourselves. So definitely love for you to share with us this wealth of knowledge you possess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, I'm a man of many talents these days, and so I will first just like to really hit home on really my my main passion, that the divine been working through me since I've learned, and that is swimming. I've been teaching people how to swim since I've learned, since I became a good swimmer. Let me say that part. Since I became a good swimmer. So at least 10 years old, I was with my auntie helping kids glide and kick off the wall and make sure that they're doing things, you know, according to the right process. You know what I'm saying? But learning throughout the years that through coaching, the importance of the empowerment of others, the upliftment of others, and me as a coach, knowing that it is my sole job to bring you to your highest potential, so that you can be able to perform at your highest, at the best you can when it's time to. And I'm just talking about swimming, but we can even easily hear how this corresponds over to life, and having to find these let me say this. The thing I always like to tell my parents is that you signed up for swimming, but you didn't know you was going to have to work on discipline, work on your listening skills, be able to take instructions, your comprehension. You got to be able to comprehend what I'm telling you to do, to just these different aspects that we need to help us accomplish things we want in our life show up in the water. And with the water being, we on the spiritual level. So, we talking water, we talking reflection, we talking about going into the womb, and going back into the roots of things and the foundations. And so it's like, this is the excitement I have with tapping in with a REIKI and the swimming work that I do, teaching we start at 4 months. We start with the babies at 4 months, and we go all the way up to the adults. I always try to motivate people to try to get into the water, because I know that once they get into the water, this is where I do my best work, is in the pool. I've done REIKI, I've done that, but I also am very understanding where I've been at all my life, where it's natural, where, all the divine sayings come out, the things to make you be like, you're right, I am great today, and I'm about to go push off this wall. I did it, yeah. That feeling, the accomplishment, the overcoming, so you can, and this is what the spirituality is about. You go do something, you accomplish something, you make a better goal, you have a good day. You try to carry that energy on to the next day. You do something good. Oh, I sat down, I was productive, I got work done. I'm closer to my dream. I'm living my purpose out. All these different aspects that just come through my work that I do through swimming, and mixing it with the things that I have learned through the REIKI system. And that's just one thing. You see, I'm saying there's multi-talented. And then with the music, man, y'all can catch us. We have a YouTube channel, The Phantom of the Chakras, and our Instagram is @Chakra Phantoms. We have plenty of sound baths, pretty so many of us just playing drums, very intuitive healing plays, things that is played purely from the spirit. I don't have compositions written down on any of the things, anything that I've played, but it's always is a direct mission with every tap, intention, mission and intention. Every time the hands touch the drums, or I strike the bowls, or I soothe the bowls around, everything is intentional. And so along with the jury, I got a little drip on today, the intentions behind the things and the purposes of why we doing them is the most important. And this is to go back to the mindfulness. So being mindful and being aware, and then applying the things that you're being mindful of, is where we're going to start to conquer the world and really get ourselves into gear and make the things that we really want. We talk about our dreams and aspirations. Like, I've been dreaming since I was a kid. I wanted to see the world, or I wanted to say to people, we all were superheroes at one time, and it's reigniting that superhero within the person so that they can rise to the occasion. Not to say you need to jump in front of the bullet, but maybe you pick that person up. You're the person calling 911. You're the person that's gonna stand on the stand. It's like, no, that was him right there. That was him. And so it's just igniting that fire and bringing people to
we can feel that fire coming from you, brother. I'm about to pass you a cup of water, man. You're gonna run out of air.
I wanted to say, teaching people how to swim is, you don't know whose life you're saving.
Right. Yes.
People, especially melanated people, didn't know how to swim or don't know how to swim. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, Rob.
It is. It definitely is. And we got to bring in the star And Starman, as folk gonna call you, then that's the Starman right there. And Sister Divine. Before we go, I definitely wanted everybody to again share you as well, share, what you see and foresee yourself, being a part of and part and parcel of, to help elevate not only what Ra's doing with you and your design and your creativity. So we'll start with a good Sister Divine, and please share your information so folk out there can tap in with what you're doing, or learn more about it, or give you a loan. I don't know, whatever it is that need to be done. But definitely we want you to be able to share the greatness and that star energy that you possess, as dear Baba was talking about a little bit earlier. So we'll start with the Divine Twilight.
Yes, I think one of my purposes here is I believe Sister Aset said this earlier, is to correct his story that has been told. I have a granddaughter, and my job is to correct that story, starting with this generation that's coming up, with her generation, and moving forward, because we have been giving some misinformed information, and everything we see is just the opposite. And so I want her to begin to understand that. And then I also know that I'm an empath, and I have a big heart, and I need to give. That's just what I need to do. And so one of my newest journeys is starting up a group home. And so I'm going to need, assistance with that, and, any type of help. Anyone has any information that they would like to share, that would be great. Because this is a new journey for me, but I know that it's going to be something that my soul needs, as well to give, and as well to receive, and not even receive anything tangible, but just being able to help others, and understanding that there is still a need out there that I can partake in, and also use these uh, REIKI methods to heal those individuals as well. So as I'm on my journey of healing myself, I can help heal others. So
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, dear Baba Hotel. What would you like to share as a final thought, or something to help etch into our mind the importance of our star energy, and then also making sure that we align ourselves and familiarize ourselves and keep ourselves abreast of star consciousness?
Indeed. First side, with Aset's agreement, actually have a collaboration announcement to make. If she would like to share that, what we're going to be putting together behind the scenes, it's in the work. So I'll pause there, and if you want,
you can feel free to share it. I was hoping you did. Yeah, awesome.
Okay. All right. So there's two parts here. I'll first answer the question about how or what I would suggest to facilitate allowing the star of who you are to shine bright, so that when we awaken the consciousness who we are in the morning, we rise up into our star consciousness, and thus our star power. And that star power, of course, is the awareness of who we are. The way I do that is first acknowledging the source of who I am as consciousness emanating as light. And that is why I use the term light to form, meaning, as mentioned, you, I, we are consciousness emanating as light, a celestial light being, luminous, immortal glory of the highest heavenly truth, light, acrogram to unveil the vibrational meaning of light. 2, taken on, and form represents your temporal, three-dimensional holographic projection of your consciousness called your body that you're looking up on in the mirror. Form, fleeting of relative matter. I am, you are a light to form me in. What this does, instead of identifying oneself as a human, now you identify yourself from the source of who you are and the projection of your avatar, if you will. So that is one way to help facilitate remaining conscious of your true identity in practice of identification. Because the central crisis that's challenging humanity, no matter who you are, wherever you are on this planet, is mistaken identity. We identify, we choose by way of the part of the remembrance adventure. Understand, it wouldn't be an adventure if you already knew completely. So we all had to perpetrate a fraud of some kind to cover up not knowing who I am and who you are. And in the journey, unveil ourselves through the interactions that we have. Now, to the announcement that is so awesome, because 3 years ago, as I shared, I came to the center and I experienced the vibrational alignment into the God Wi-Fi in my energy centers. And as Aset expressed, and others here in the room, the residue of the karmic residue of your childhood traumas actually cloud the radiance of your light beingness in each of those energy centers. And until you purify in those energy centers, you are not operating at full magnitude of your star power. So I have a proposal that I have submitted to the congressman here in Florida, Congressman Maxwell Frost, who this past week I was on a Zoom call with, and that's an update also for you, Aset, and to confirm that he received my proposal from his senior executive staff. And his proposal is in relation to the bill that he introduced to President Biden, who by executive order launched the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. My proposal is a proposal to associate a theme song and music video to gun violence prevention. But going even further than that, not just a theme song and a music video, which is being remastered from an old version that was actually originally done 25 years ago by the music director of the New York City Symphony Orchestra. But now create a music video challenge of self-love, self-respect, and self-appreciation through this video. This music video challenge will have a monetary award for individuals in their video, whether they post it on Instagram, YouTube, wherever, is to create a challenge to the young people to show examples of self-love, self-respect, and self-appreciation. And this challenge is called Souling Across America, Awakening Star Power. Well, in order to awaken your star power, you got to have a tool or system or place to go to do it, don't you?
Right.
Well, in the music video, we're going to point individuals to the Eye of Ra Center, where individuals will go in where their aura is dimly lit, and they will come out shining bright and radiant as a result of the ARAT Ra Reiki transformation model. And that is my contribution to honoring the authenticity and the genuine passion and service that my dear beloved sister here brings as a conduit of the divine healing energy and power of the supreme might of the Creator, never the all-encompassing divinity.
Wow. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sister Aset, how does that make you feel? And definitely, you know, want to get some quick words from you before we bring dear Sister Antoinette on for the last time.
Just, it's empowering, you know, it's the energy exchange, and it's fuel to keep me moving. So big door, I appreciate it.
It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We got to hear from this sister one more again, and definitely want to get some of her light and love, and as she shares with us what she'll do to advance the center, and also to advance this wonderful healing process that she's on, and how she'll heal others. And you know, I definitely want to thank all of you. You all turn your mics off. I'm like, y'all great, man. Y'all, I never normally, you know, it'd be like feedback, like this is great. But no, in all seriousness, I really appreciate your light, and thank you for being so transparent tonight. And I want you to make sure that you let everyone know how they can reach out to you if they want to further discuss some of these wonderful, brilliant bulletin points that you shared, and get more information about how wonderful your care and your understanding is.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words. What I would bring to the center is just my energy and my light. So, like, in my time, you know, like I volunteered already for some events, and I just look forward to adding my strength to the center because I do believe in it. The Eye of Ra is a big deal, and we need it. We need it in our communities. We need it in our we need it in our neighborhoods, you know, just as many liquor stores we got on every corner. We need the Eye of Ra on every corner. Like, we need these types of centers because people are waking up, right? But they need to be able to wake up to truth and authenticity. And I feel like that's what the Eye of Ra would bring, is just that authenticity and re-education. Like, we need to, we are going through a re-education process, right? So even me, like, I'm still learning about my history and our history, and you know, all the things that we were told, we were lied to. You know, they tried to stump us down and take away so much. They did. They took away so much of what we contributed. Like, we built this country. This country was built on our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, like, we are the real kings and queens. Really, we're the real VIP, and now we're realizing that. So I do want to put a plug out for. So you can find me on Psychology Today. I am a therapist. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm licensed in the state of Texas. So if there are people out there that would like to reach out to me, please feel free to do that. You can find me on Psychology Today. My name is Antoinette Winters. I am taking patients. I definitely specialize in trauma-informed treatment, so helping people heal through their trauma, because a lot of people have a lot of it, but you can get to the other side of that coin. Like, just, you don't have to look like what you've been through. You don't have to feel like what you've been through. You can be happy. You can learn to not just survive, but thrive.
Beautiful.
And that's what
Well
I
said.
enjoy, helping people. Thank you so much. It's an
Well
honor and a
said.
pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Dear Sister Twila, I want to make sure, did we get to you? I want to make sure that we gave you an opportunity to share as well. Well, dear sister, it started with you, and I guess, and thank you, dear Divine Twila. It started with you, and I guess we'll finish with you. This is a very spirited conversation, a conversation of great depth, because each person, that's why I had to look away. They were saying so much deep stuff, man. I had to just think about it. I'm like, dang, I'm trying to process all. Then I said one thing and then another thing. I'm like, well, this is heavy right here, man. It's deep. I love it.
Yeah.
And it just is indicative or an indicator of the kinds of things that are going on at the center, and the kinds of energies that the center is attracting. I
Yeah.
remember when, we had the little grand opening, and,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, man, this is beautiful, because you talked about it and you brought it into fruition, into existence. And now years later, it's been 500, Fortune 500 companies that have went under. You know what I'm saying? Businesses that have just stopped being a business,
Yeah.
and you still going,
Yeah. Yeah.
still doing what you're doing, and it's growing.
Yeah.
Baba talking about you getting ready to star, and it's going to be a satellite. We're making a whole new galaxy. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's on
Yeah.
a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to just take some time to elaborate on this, because many of us, understand the significance of 1022, and how, things are aligned, and
Yeah.
how when you reach that, you say, let's do a reunion.
Yeah.
But I also think this is a way in which,
Yeah.
for greater elevation. Not only are we communing about what's been done, from the events to the experiences, but we're also celebrating what's yet to be accomplished, right? What we have in store
Yeah.
for the future. And it sounds like it's even more better, more brighter, and
Yeah.
more bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and close my mouth so you can share with us why this is such an important moment, and what this moment will manifest in moments to come.
Oh wow. So, I being transparent, you talking about the Fortune 500 companies, going away and things like that. This has been an opportunity for me to practice not faith, but practice knowing, and testing to see if I truly understand the things that I teach, right? Because a part of the teachings is when you are in divine alignment, and when you are doing what you came here to do, you don't really have to worry about going under. And there's been days where I've worried about that, and it's given me an opportunity to work that out, to weed that out. And so I'm just grateful to the Creator, manifesting in all of these wonderful people, manifesting in so many different ways, ensuring that the center stays not only afloat but thrive. Like Antoinette said, we're not just about surviving; we want to thrive, and that's what I see. I see thriving now that I'm like, I'm letting go the fear factor and all those kind of energies. I see us thriving, and because this is a necessity. And yes, 1022 is a vibrational frequency. I live and vibrate on the 11th frequency. I was born on the 11th frequency, so that is where I dwell. And all of its increments, right? 11, 22, 33. And today is actually my oldest sister's Earth Day as well.
Wow.
And she's been instrumental in helping me to become who I am, you know, starting back when we were teenagers. So it's all of it is apropos. These numbers and vibrations are, like you said earlier, ways for us to connect and ways for our guides and protectors to connect to us and communicate to us as well. So all I see is growth, right? This is not a fad. This is the beginning of a transformation process that we are undergoing as children of the light. And as a child of the light, I'm just going to do whatever I can to help other people turn on their light, until my last breath. And so
Wow.
that's it. So
Wow, you're doing your thing.
I'll turn it back.
Right, definitely doing your thing. And this is something that I learned about today, and it was really alarming, because we've had conversations about how we have to elevate and how we have to grow, and but one of the things that always sticks out to me, and you were a deep sister, you weren't, like what people would assume was lost, but you talked about self-hate and not truly understanding how to love yourself. And the thing that I was overcome with today was, there are so many sisters who are destroying themselves, whether they realize it or they don't realize it, via the chemicals that they're putting on their crown.
Yeah.
That they're putting in their body.
Yeah.
That they're using to somehow become aesthetically beautiful, with insane standards. I was going to cuss, but I don't want to do that because it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But these westernized ways and these so-called beauty standards that are the antithesis of what our body needs and what will help grow our consciousness and our awareness to, as Baba talked about, we're already stars. We already got main character energy. We don't need to, become unbelievable. We're already unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on it. I'm not knocking to do what they do. But the statistical data purports and supports when it says 60% of the women that are being affected adversely by the chemicals in these hair care products and other things are Black women, are women of melanation. We need to have an awakening to make us understand, as you have said over the years, that we have to love ourselves and appreciate our authentic and organic self. So as I look at your crown, what I'm saying, it's growing, look at, everybody else getting older, you looking younger. I'm like, I looked over, I'm like, oh, what's this? I didn't get some of that sea moss from Jamaica.
Yeah.
But, for real. But it's important before we close out this conversation, that those that are tapped in, because I know they're strong. You got to be strong to listen this long. But I'm hoping and praying that your spirit can share with them to keep going, keep growing, stay committed, because you're an example of it. There have been many moments you could have quit. You could have went back into the corporate thing and done your thing.
Yeah.
But you stayed the course. And
Yeah.
of course, it hasn't been easy. It's been a struggle, as it will continue. But you're thriving. And it's obvious to see that it's growing and it's working. So I know that you can speak something that will hopefully enlighten and teach something for someone out there that needs to hear. Don't succumb to the fear. Keep planning, keep growing, keep flourishing, keep nourishing that wonderful dream that the Spirit has shown you.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the programs that we have it's under the ARAT REIKI umbrella and Antoinette was talking about it, is the acculturation class. And so I talk about that and I teach that. And some of the things that we're going to be doing, when I say we, some of the people on this platform and other people, we're going out into the communities and we're going to reclaim our people. We want to go out and talk to the sisters and tell them that they're beautiful. We want to go out looking beautiful in our own natural, way as mirrors, to show them that the way that the Creator made them is beautiful. And the first step to self-love or loving the self is self-acceptance, and accepting everything that you are in the present, and seeing how you've been socially engineered to not appreciate the way in which the Creator made you is a first step towards healing the self, right? And you can't heal that which you don't love. And so, I tell the story all the time how my mom told me to look in the mirror, and say, I love you, and see what happens when I was like 14. And, as a 14-year-old, I was like ready to pop off, like, oh, come on, that don't even make sense, right? And then one day I'm in the mirror combing my hair and I'm looking at myself and I went to say, I love you. And I'm looking at my own self, right, in my own eyes, and I couldn't say it. I started crying, because you can't lie to yourself. And so I encourage women to stop and look at themselves in the mirror and find out what it is that's obstructing them from loving themselves unconditionally, and begin to reverse the psychology surrounding those things one by one. I don't care if it's your toenails, whatever it is, your hips. Begin to love it, accept it, and send those parts of your body love. Same thing with your personality, character, things that people have criticized you about. Begin to find the strength in it, accept it, and love it. Because if we don't love ourselves, who will?
Thanks.
No one can love you. And this is one of the things that I speak to people in the session. No one can love you more than you love yourself, not even your parents, not even your mother, not even your father. And a lot of these stress relationships with our parents are like that, to teach us that we have to step in and love ourselves unconditionally. This is something that we have to begin to do for ourselves.
One of the things that we have to do for ourselves is acknowledge when we come in contact with energy that helps us become a better self. So I just want to say thank you for your light, and thank you for making tonight possible. This is what we need. I mean, we know October is Mental Health Awareness and Depression Month, but I also think about it needs to become the month that we acknowledge that there are some energies that are higher and even greater than those things that attack us, and that can take us away from the very things that you're manifesting now, because you are taking your dreams and making it a reality. And as the brother talked about, the star and that energy, and I've always said, keep shining, because I think that it's important for us to realize the light we possess is real. I'm thinking about the difficulties that many of us are having right now, wondering, should we keep going? And that's something that you've always said in all the conversations that we had. Even tonight, you're like, am I doing enough? And it seems like tonight it was definitely a sign that you doing your thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's working. But I want to close out tonight with a little bit of your light in terms of, sitting back and processing. And you made a lot of sacrifices to this. And now, you're seeing fruits grow, and you're seeing, folk come into the fold that are helping and aiding and abetting this process. I'm wondering, do you ever sit back and say to yourself, I shouldn't have taken this pill? What would it be like, if I would just stayed on that course? Because I think a lot of people think about that. I think a lot of people, especially if you're knee deep in this thing, what if I'd have just kept, doing what I was doing, where would I be? And the reason why I bring this up and ask this question now is because, the reality of it is many people have that thought, right? But I wonder, as you have that thought, there's something else that says, no, I'm cool. This is what I was meant and born to do. Because people talk about purpose, but I don't know if there are many people who are truly living out their purpose and committed to that purpose, even in spite of thinking about damn, I could be doing something else with my 86,400 seconds, 1,440 minutes. So I know that, the work you're doing is real to you. And it's so real that I know you have a way of answering this in a brilliantly divine and wonderfully said and amazingly put way in which to convey us a beautiful information to help us make our transition and elevation to greater and higher heights.
Yeah. Wow. Just recently I was putting together an exit strategy. Very recently, an exit strategy. Like, how can I stop doing all of this? Right? Because you gotta remember, we have that ego personality that is always trying. It wants you to enjoy life. It wants you to feel good.
Yeah.
And when I reach points when this isn't feeling that good because the struggle seems a little too much, the ego is ready to tell you to throw in the towel. And then I have to lean on the higher self, the soul self, to see beyond the struggle. But one of the things that bring me back is when I sit and I think about what else would I do if I wasn't doing this. Said there is absolutely nothing under the sun that would satiate. There's nothing else under the sun that I would want to do. If I wasn't doing this, I would say it's time for me to leave this realm and move on to another realm and do something different. That is how deep this is for me.
Wow. That's heavy.
And so if I'm not doing this, I'm not doing time and space. How about that?
Wow. And before we let you go out of this time and place and space, you mentioned something a few years ago I thought was very interesting. You said one of your teachers told you that we're either in peace or pleasure and peace, or we're either going from pleasure to chaos and disorder and dysfunction. And I thought about that. That's a deep statement, you know what I'm saying? Because, so much of our existence is, seeking pleasure, right? This will be easy. This is what you want, spend $19.99 and all your pain will go away, right?
Right.
And I'm wondering, how can we bring that into a realistic understanding in our minds and in our behavior so that we can go to the other side to say what you just said. Either I'm here doing this or I'm going to another realm to do whatever this is in that realm. So that, so that this is real wherever it is. Because it is what it is, if that makes sense.
Oh man, that was very, very eloquent the way you reworded that. I love that. It happens like we're in degrees. When you really start to realize the things that you have holding your happiness hostage is illusory, then you're ready to accept that kind of reality. Do you know what I mean? Let me reiterate that. Right? When we realize that we are holding our happiness hostage to illusions, then we can free ourselves. What do I mean by that? How many people hold their happiness hostage to silly things? Not silly things. How about fleeting things? Like, when I meet that man, when I meet my soulmate, then I'll be happy. So up until that point, what are you? You're not happy? Right? When I get that job, I'll be happy, right? When I get a certain amount of money, I'll be happy. When my credit is good, I'll be happy, right? When I get that Big Mac, I'll be happy. Right? All of these things are illusory because none of those things give you sustained happiness. None of those things give you happiness anyway. It's the thought that you've applied to the thing that tells you be happy when you get it. And how long does that happiness last? It doesn't last. Then it's being held hostage to the next thing. And so, when we think about that construct of happiness, really is moving from peace to pleasure and pleasure to peace. So when I have the things that's enjoyable to me, I'm in a space of pleasure, enjoy it. When I don't have it, I'm at peace. That's happiness, because you're not holding your sense of peace hostage. And then unhappiness, according to Ra and Nefer, which I love, is unhappiness is moving from pleasure to pain, pain to pleasure.
Wow.
And I even add, sometimes you might even find some peace in there. So you may go from pleasure, peace, and then to pain. You may meditate for a few minutes and then be at peace. Then you go right back.
Oh, man. Ooh, that's heavy. Yeah.
And it's just the illusoriness that you're holding, you're giving power to things outside of yourself to make you happy. And they don't. They never do.
Wow. They say heart disease is now the leading cause of death for men and women in America. The way you speak to folk heart and how much heart the folks spoke tonight, it's the last one, I promise. But I think it's the right one to end this with, because what I've heard emanate and be expressed from each individual was their heart. And, I've heard in a song before, don't lose your heart, Three Stacks. Don't lose your heart. There's been a lot of debate about, should we use our heart? Should we use our head? Should we be led by our ego? Should we be more heart-centered? How do we approach this last quarter with all of this madness going on and still maintain some sanity and some semblance of connection to the peace and serenity that our heart provides? I'm wondering, how have you kept your heart intact and sustained with all of these games and rumors of war and chaos that seems to be ensuing all around us on our planet?
Well, in Kemetic philosophy or mysticism, how I teach the construct of the heart is the fourth energy center, and it is the sum total of the energies of is energy center 1 plus 2 and 3 equals 4. And so, what does that mean? The first energy center in the ARAT REIKI system, I correlate to your unconscious mind, right? Your thoughts, your programming, your beliefs, right? That's the root of who you are. And then there's some more in there, but we're just going to leave it at that. And then your second energy center is the seat of your emotions, right? Your subconscious. And then your third energy center is your conscious reality. So in no other system do they align the mind, those aspects of the mind, to the energy centers like that. We do it like that in the ARAT REIKI center. So what are we talking about? So if my thoughts and my beliefs, right, are negative, then they're going to inform my emotions. And then my emotions and my feelings are going to be negative. Those two together will inform my conscious reality and create a negative reality for myself, which will essentially poison the heart. Okay. So how do I deal with that? I don't even know what's going on in the world right now. Some people would say, how could you not? I don't. Why? Because tuning into that, tapping into that poisons my thoughts. Because we know that it's a constant reel of negativity that I would be fed if I was plugged into the news, plugged into the world on that level. And that's going to infect my thoughts. I already have enough negative thoughts that were generated in the way in which my unconscious mind was programmed in this Western paradigm that I'm dealing with. So if I keep feeding it more by watching the news, being on social media, being plugged into these things that I can't control, then it's going to further infect my thoughts. And then that's going to infect the way I'm feeling. I'll be feeling fearful, stressed out, anxiety about what's going on. And then that's going to create a conscious reality, the third energy center. My reality is going to be negative. It's going to poison my heart, right? And your heart is essentially the seat of your desires and your ability to love and vibrate at a higher frequency. And so what do I suggest? unplug. There's no need to be plugged into all of that negativity. You can't control it, right? Why? Take that time out, away from being plugged in and plug into yourself, right? Plug into something positive, because if you're feeding your thoughts, if you're giving positive things to the mind, then that's going to lend positivity to the way that you feel, and that's going to lend positivity to your conscious reality. So your reality is not going to be the same as mine, because I'm not even plugged into the world on that level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And it not only makes sense, it's common sense, We got to take care of ourselves and protect ourselves first and foremost, right? Before we can, delve into the affairs of the world, I think we need to be very clear on where we stand and what stands in our minds and in our hearts and our spirits as important. So mention the events one more time, my dear sister, and we'll go ahead and
All right.
call this a night.
Thank you. So I encourage people to just go to our website, ARAT.com. We also have the healing system. That's the ARAT REIKI system. So we also have a website for that, ARAT.com. Throughout the year, we do all types of things. Last year, we did a 9-week free Healing the Inner Child workshop. We had people from all over the world plugged in, people from South Africa. And it's a free 9-week workshop helping people who experience childhood trauma, how to address it. We do meditation classes. We do Reiki. For people who don't know what Reiki is, that is working with the life force energy that we all have, and removing obstructions and blockages from our from our energy centers, so that the second, the life force energy, can flow freely. That helps with physical health, right? Mental health and spiritual health. We have so many different things going on at the center right now. We have painting with a purpose. And the purpose is, when you come and paint, you have a great time, and the proceeds help to keep the nonprofit open and afloat. So that's the purpose. Just plug in, go to the website. We have classes, ongoing classes, meditation classes, yoga classes. Some things will be coming to a halt because we are shifting to focus on getting the cafe open and up and running once and for all. And we also have herbs. So within the next couple of weeks, we will have all the herbs out and ready. You can buy them by the ounce, or you can buy them prepackaged. We have a lot of indigenous herbs from Jamaica, and we also have other herbs that are not grown in Jamaica. So we will be doing free workshops on how to work with different herbs, free little tea parties where you can come in and sample some of the teas, the medicinal teas. So as a holistic center, we are trying to cover all, we're covering all bases. We want to help people mentally, physically, and spiritually evolve to the best of our ability.
Wow. Well, thank you, dear sister. This is amazing. Being a witness is even more humbling and gratifying, because I know the magnitude of work that is being done and will be done. So we just thank you for being the one that we need, and we appreciate you for all that you're doing for our community, because it's light and it's love, and you are definitely a star. So we salute you, and we thank you, and we thank the divine for allowing you to spend some time with us tonight.
Thank you, Sid. And you know how I do. It takes one to know one. So thank you for your light and everything that you do. I love you. Appreciate
you. Love you too. Love you too. Appreciate it. And let's do this soon, okay?
Yes. Thank
peace,
you.
Peace, peace. That's the one and only. The sister's powerful. Before we go tonight, we want to share some information with you. You need at least 12 hugs. You need at least 12 hugs. You need at least 12 hugs. We went through, many of us, isolation, desolation. Some of us live through these machines, and not realizing and understanding the importance of interconnection, human connection, and getting the inspiration and direction and affection from others. We are not soul independent entities. We're interdependent, and it is essential. And some social scientists say that we don't just have two parents, we have to have at least 5 or 6 individuals while we're growing up and developing that help guide, protect, anoint, and give us wisdom and direction so that we can ultimately raise our consciousness and maturation. So what we are hoping and praying is that over the course of this week, that you take some time to tap into in a real way, not just talking about sports and politics and whatever's trending on social media, but really tapping into the greater consciousness and those thoughts that you're afraid to think, but you know you can't stop thinking about because there's something calling you. There's something asking you to do something you were born to do that society might shun, but the creator and the universe are going to shine greater light and love on you because we know that that's a part of your divine purpose and direction and vision. So we're hoping and praying that you will make part and parcel of your ritual or routine or habits that you'll tap in and hug a friend, tell someone that you love them, and share that positive energy in and around your world because we know how important it is. We know how potent it is, and we know how you are the one that we're waiting for, and there's no more time to wait or waste. So we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it other than share and spread and express that beautiful love to someone who can then pass it on and tag you're it. So we know that this is a beautiful conversation. If you missed any part of it, you can go back on the replay because we have more people that watch on the replay than live. And that's not because people don't want to see it live. That's because sometimes Facebook and other entities don't cooperate. But we don't get angry. We understand. We know that when you love, you have to experience the hate. That's the polarity. That's the balance of existence. But we're going to continue to spread love and higher upliftment and engagement. And we hope and pray that you'll do the same. So we're going to get out of this thing. We want to make sure that you go to the events that are ticking and talking across your screen. And please make sure that you reach out to one of these king and queens who shares so much love and light. And I can't wait to share some more star power next week with you. We definitely got to bring Baba Hotep back on to talk about some more of these acronyms because he's been dropping them in the chat. So before we go, I want to share one because it's really beautiful. And he talks about the heart. And that's at the essence and really the emphasis of why we started doing this. And shouts out to Brother Evans. Shouts out to Baba Fanah, rest as an ancestor. And I know that so many individuals who went to Sankofa this past Saturday, they loved to edify and uplift and glorify his name. As well as we want to send shouts out to Sister Keisha and Sister Kua and others who have helped us on this 9 years continue to share information with you. And the beautiful thing is, folk always talk to me about the views and how many people see the show and folk in Africa and other parts of the world tap into it. But, those things really don't move me. What moves me is that one person, that's right, you, that's watching this right now, that you could be doing anything with your time. And you've taken time to share with us your mind. And you're not just watching, you're an active participant because we can feel your energy because real recognizes real. And you got to be real to tap into this. So we know and understand the importance and the divine assignment that each one of you are on. And we're just asking and encouraging, begging, Johnny Gill, keep sweating you to keep doing you because we need you. And we know how important that your sacrifice and your contribution is to those who are yet to be born, who will study, who will learn and be inspired by your dedication, by your discipline, by your love, by your heart that Baba Hotep has shared the definition of that acronym is healing energy, affirming righteous truth. So we hope that you will continue to use your heart to impart so much of this deep divine energy, empowering perpetual peace, so that you can experience peace that turns into pleasure, and pleasure that leads to more peace. And then you can begin to help elevate the future generations and teach them a lesson that's worth learning, so that they can keep the candle burning and the star power churning, so that we can keep on keeping on, because we come from a great and powerful people. And it's no wonder it's 10:22, because it's time for you to do what you do. So we're going to close out the program. That's nothing but love and light for you. And please, again, tap into the Eye of Ra, one of the most profound and prolific places on our planet. And, that's not just me saying that. You can watch this show and you will know that that's true. So keep doing what you do. And you already know we're going to see you next week.